5:30. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's our Monday, December 30th, 5:30 special meeting at Mobridge City Hall. Heather, would you call the roll, please?
Jensen?
Here.
Kibnitz?
Here.
Carlson?
Here.
Mound?
Here.
Cerny?
Here.
Reichert?
Here.
Okay, up next we have Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Randy to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Up next, we'll adopt the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? If not, I'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Chemnitz?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Cerny?
Yes.
Reichert?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Okay, unfinished business, second reading of our supplemental appropriation ordinance. It is ordinance 2403. Heather, do we have any additions or corrections since the first reading?
There was a couple minor changes. The police department was decreased by $5,000, and the events was increased by $400. Overall, a little under 5,000 decrease for total appropriations from the first reading.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the second reading of our supplemental appropriation ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Carlson?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Cerny?
Yes.
Reichert?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Chemnitz?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes unfinished business. Take us into new business, public hearing and approval of transfer of a liquor license. In your packets, it looks like the transfer of the liquor license for the Silver Dollar Bar, changing owners. Since this is a public hearing, is there anyone to speak for or against? Hearing no comment either way, I'd look for a motion to approve the transfer of the liquor license of the Silver Dollar.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Carlson?
Yes.
Chemnitz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Reichert?
Yes.
Cerny?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Okay, up next, approve accepting grant in the amount of $15,000 for the library building. Before I let Heather explain the minutia of it, I will say, great job, Heather, in landing this grant. Would you like to tell everybody all about it?
Yeah, so we applied for a grant to do the point tucking at the library, on the old part of the building. The total cost was, I believe, $42,000. The Library Foundation is going to give us 10, and then we have 15,000 in reserves, and then with this 15,000 from the Deadwood Fund, we have it completely paid for. There is a deed restriction that goes with this grant, so I just wanted to point that out. We do have to record that. I've read through it, and it's nothing, I mean, it's not like we're gonna sell the library, so.
All right, any questions or comments on that? Okay, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve accepting the grant in the amount of $15,000 for the library.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Chemnitz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Reichert?
Yes.
Cerny?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Okay, up next, approve change order number 1 in the amount of $856,515 for the water transmission line project. Information in your packet. I believe we have Jared on the phone. So Jared, if you want, I'll let you talk about this.
Mr. Mayor, can you hear me okay? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, so, again, this is one of these where if you want to, direct the contractor to do work, then you need to issue a change order to order them to do the work. So I want everybody to understand this isn't one of those bad change orders where, you know, it's gonna cost more money because it's unforeseen reason. So, if you have the map source that we set up for 3 different projects. Project A was the water tank and transmission line up to the new tower by the golf course. Project number 2 is the rehab at the water treatment plant, and project number 3 is the water intake. So because of the American Recovery Plan money that was available, it's about a 40% grant. City set up this funding 2 years ago for $11.3 million. It was supposed to pay for all 3 projects. We bid and awarded the first 2 projects, which is the tower, transmission line, and the water plants. Well, now that we have the FEMA funding for project number 3, we're basically way under budget for the first funding source that was set up. The first, the DWSRF funding is at a 40% grant. The FEMA funding is at I think an 85% grant. So it's, you obviously have to take that, which is a good deal. When we awarded the bids on the first project, which was the transmission line and tank, because we weren't sure how the other bids were gonna come in for the other projects, or if you would get the FEMA funding, we kinda held back a little bit. You only awarded 2/3 of the transmission line. So, at the time, we bid it, we designed it, we've gotten the environmental clearance to do the whole thing, but you can picture, the water line that goes from the southwest corner of the cemetery up to the golf course, that's an existing line. It's about a half a mile of 1962 16-inch transmission line, and everybody felt pretty strongly about replacing it. Like I said, we designed it, we bid it, but we just weren't sure if we were gonna have the money to do that. Now that you have the FEMA funding to pay for project 3, you feel pretty good that you do have the money to do that section of pipe. You would have to issue a change order to Crow River to do that. They were aware that you may do that. That was one of the reasons they held off on building the water main this last summer, because if they're gonna show up to town, they wanted to do the whole thing anyways. So this change order would be to add that half a mile of pipe into their contract, to be change order number 1. Hope I didn't confuse anybody with that.
No, so the short version is yeah, we held back, we were gonna leave the old pipe in place. And now we've got another funding source to replace the pipe that we weren't gonna replace the first time. That's my understanding of it, if that's adding more to the confusion.
You summarized it a lot shorter than what I said, I think. Yes.
Good job.
As far as the reasons to do it, I think we all wanted to award it right away. It was the intent, but we just weren't positive if we were gonna be able to. Asbestos cement pipe is what that pipe is made out of. Normally has about a 50 to 70-year life expectancy. Sometimes you can stretch it, sometimes it fails early. It's hard to know. That pipe's already at 62 years old, so I think if we don't deal with it, I would expect that you'll have to deal with it, sometime in the near future.
And the other piece of this is the state was gonna take back $448,000 of their grant money if we didn't have it awarded by December 31st.
So it just came up like a week ago December 19th, and the state basically asked us if we intended to add any more work to this contract, and it's before you now. If you want to utilize some of those funds at about a 40% grant to get this line done, then you need to decide if you wanna do it or not.
So, I don't think we'll ever get the money to do it again in the whole thing. We're not getting the whole thing here, but why come back and fix it when everybody's here to do it right now? So that's my thoughts. Are there any other questions or?
Well, and this price is, Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, 10% over the bid costs until the contractor can get pricing after the first of the year.
That is worth mentioning, yes, I should have mentioned that before, but, so when you take their bid price, which was from, about a year ago, you're right, we did work with, Crow River. We've inflated their bid price slightly. Basically, the deal with them is they can provide receipts showing that pipe or valves or hydrants cost any more than when they bid the job. We will give them that difference. So because this was over Christmas break, they tried to get a hold of their subs and suppliers just to make sure that, see what if any prices changed, and weren't able to do that. So we just agreed we would add 10% to this, and then once they provide those receipts, we would expect to do a deduct at some point. I don't expect prices to be this high. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but because we're basically securing the funds from the state, so we would rather be just a hair high and then go down once we can get copies of receipt and invoices and actual prices. So you're right, Heather. This is a little bit conservative of a number.
Any questions? So do we want to call for a motion to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $856,515 for the water transmission line?
So, I'll second.
Have a motion second. Heather, call the roll, please.
Jensen?
Yes.
Reichert?
Yes.
Cerny?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Chemnitz?
Okay, up next, approve amendment number 1 to task order number 1, increasing the contract by $53,738 with more engineering. I'm guessing this is the engineering portion to do the engineering for what we just approved.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is Jared again. Construction staking, inspection, we expect to add a month to construction. I mean, you're not paying us these dollar amounts. I'm asking to up our budgets for each of those areas by, I don't know, like 9,000 for surveying and 7,000 for contract admin and a little more for record drawings and more inspection. But those costs will be what they are, but I'm asking to amend those budgets on our construction engineering agreement for that.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, I guess hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve amendment number 1 to task order number 1, increasing contract by $53,738 with more engineering.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Reichert?
Yes.
Cerny?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Chemnitz? Jensen?
Yes.
Okay. We don't need Jared anymore.
No, but I don't know how to hang up on him
Oh, okay,
without hanging up on Jade, so
okay.
you can
Okay.
disconnect if you want.
I'm gonna hang up unless somebody needs me for something.
Nope,
Have a
thanks,
happy-
Jared.
Have a happy new year there,
Have a
buddy.
good night.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, you too.
Let's see, up next, approved step increase for Taylor Talley, increasing her hourly wage from $22.76 to $23.83 effective 9/9 of '24. If there's no questions or comments, I'd look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Cerny?
Yes.
Mound?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Chemnitz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Reichert?
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, approve reconstructed wage scale for the water and wastewater department. The water, wastewater committee, Heather, myself, Kurt, sat down. The water and wastewater department has not had a wage adjustment. We've adjusted all the other departments as time went on. At the last council meeting, we hired street employees at a higher rate than we would have a water department employee and current water department employees. So, those folks sat down, they've presented what's in your packet here. I'll let Heather, she could probably explain it more clearly than I can, if there's any questions or comments. But basically, they would start out at $20 after probation bump to 21, and then 25-cent step increases, and then I'll let Heather take over and talk all the rest. So,
Yeah, this simplifies the wage scale a lot from the way it was set up previously. So for a step increase, it's 25 cents per year up to 10 years. After 10 years, all step increases cease because then employees get longevity. They would also get, for each classification, they would get a bump. So for each class 1, when they pass the test, they would get another quarter. Class 2, 50 cents, class 3, 75 cents, and a class 4, $1. This will be much easier to keep track of. So like if you have an employee who's been here 4 years, but they have either not had the opportunity to pass a test, or testing for them is not a requirement, they're still able to move up somewhere in the wage scale without being kept at the bottom. So this is a lot simpler than what we were using previously.
anything you want to add, Kurt, or did that hit it? Okay. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay, I guess hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the restructured wage scale for the water and wastewater department.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mound,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Chemnitz, Jensen,
Yes.
Reichert,
Yes.
Cerny.
Yes.
Okay, up next is payment of the bills. Looks like we had a little additional bills before the meeting, but looks like the grand total of the bills, $355,730.53. If there's no questions, I'd look for a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mound,
Yes.
Cerny,
Yes.
Reichert,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Chemnitz,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Okay, if there's no other business before the council, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Cerny,
Yes.
Reichert,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Chemnitz,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Mound.
Yes.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
That was